Hey guys, Forex Last from BK Forex. Welcome to our Forex Daily Technicals for 8/22/13. Euro dollar posts an inside day. As always, trading Forex on margin carries a high level risk may not be suitable for investors. I ask you to read this disclaimer very carefully and seek advice from a independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Well, I think the most interesting thing to take a look at today, post FOMC, which was sort of clear as mud, produced very little directional movements, is the fact that the euro actually posted an inside day, something quite unusual, where both the highs and the lows were not exceeded. And usually, when you have an inside day like this and you have a compression of volatility, you generally have a break one way or the other that tends to give you more of a directional clue. So for now, we're sort of trending lower, trying to test the lows here below 33.50, sort of around the 33s, to see if we can find the support here. If that gets broken, then obviously we basically had a false breakout, and that could lead us all the way down to perhaps maybe 32.50, even 3200, as we have a little bit of an unwind. Basically, the power of balance shifts to dollar bulls, especially if tonight's PMI numbers from Europe, let's say, disappoint. That would create sort of a virtuous cycle for the dollar, in the sense that the market may begin to think, yeah, taper to the U.S., Europe not doing as well as green shoots may have indicated, and creates a little bit of a balance move. But I still think that overall, if you look at the longer term picture, it is still very, very congested, and there's really little clear directional move here. This move could also kind of consolidate, and then we could take out the 34.50s, which would put us on a much more sure path towards the 35s and 37s on the euro. So for the time being, well worth watching the price action inside this range, just to see where we have near-term directional moves. My bottom line is, I think if we take out the 33s to the downside, we do have a chance here to test sort of the lows around 32.50s. If we can climb back above the 34s, then 34.50 comes back into view, and this is a double top test. That's going to be pretty significant to the top side. Dollar yen also not in a similar position, but in a similar range position, in the sense that 97.98 pretty much is the order of the day. Look at the compression here. We just have nothing going on. We basically have just no movement. Yen is treading water. The fact that it's just unable to, I think, kind of take out the highs. 98.50 is a key level here to the upside, in order to relieve a lot of this negative pressure and create essentially a series of higher lows, which would give it more of a positive bent. 96 sort of 75 breaks us to the downside, and then creates a much more negative bent, because then we have higher lows. You see how basically this compression of volatility can go either way, so precisely because both the lows and the highs are operating within this very, very narrow range. It could be governing the price action. Cable came off. Actually, we just took out the lows of the day here. Pretty ugly move, to the downside on cable, which is kind of interesting, because it was a big sweep to the 57s, but a big rejection. There's a sort of a double top formation. So worth watching on this. Cable maybe just simply overbought and then do a little bit of a correction. Support here 56, and obviously a stronger support 55.50 could very well be. This could be a turn candle in cable. Certainly worth watching. And more importantly, if cable kind of turns here weak, and Europe holds its ground and we have positive PMI, then it's worth watching this, because Euro pound here coming back to the upside, a break above the this 85.80 level puts us right back into the 86s and puts us much more towards a recovery route. 85 held, and for now it appears that we may be making a U-turn here, certainly challenging the 86s, and if we can clear here, the next level will be 86.50 on the crosses. Aussie is just basically continuing to deteriorate to the downside. We took out the 90s. We basically clearly made a double top 92s. Now support is 88.50. This is a really, really going to be critical support. Do we double bottom here, or could it possibly be that Aussie really deteriorates, even breaks down the 88.50 support? I think it's dubious at this point that we have an acceleration to the downside, but I can't rule anything out. Certainly, it's going to be very much worth watching. The closer we get to 88.50, everybody who's a range trader is going to really want to step in and see if they could screw up the bits for a double bottom test. If we can stop somewhere around here, around 89.50, and then turn back up, that would create a higher low and perhaps more of a support level. But Aussie still, for now, is basically basing, although it's clearly coming to the lower end of its range on the base. And as long as these lows hold, that would suggest further more of a base formation. But again, near term, momentum is to the downside, and if we accelerate to 89.50s, it really brings this 88.50 back into view on the Aussie. Again, also, here's the other thing. So if Aussie is weak and euro holds firm, and especially let's say if euro has a rally. The other trade that could be really of interest here, we talked about euro pound recovering, but euro Aussie recovering significantly here, really moving through the 48. The critical thing here is going to be if we can come back and retest the 50s. That's going to be the 150 level, could be very, very significant for the euro Aussie. It's certainly worth watching as a potential further breakout. This really is going to be much more function of Aussie weakness than euro strength, but either way, clearly worth watching. Conversely, we get some negative news. We may be able to see a little bit of a turn here on the move as you get a double top, moving in lower double top in euro Aussie. So euro on the crosses, I think, is going to be the story tonight, and there's definitely some interesting ideas on both sides of the price action. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else that we need to take a look at, but I really don't think so. I think that's really the main stories today. Oh, well, we obviously on the Aussie itself, we have the Chinese data, which is going to be worth watching too, because that could be one of those impetuses that could either stabilize the Aussie or could really press us through the 89.50s. We have the Chinese PMI data coming out. We need to see how well that number comes out. That's the HSBC number, which is also the one that's considered to be more relevant by the market because it's smaller companies, and we'll see what that story shows up. Anyways, that's the trade for the day. As I said, FOMC did not bring a lot of clarity to the market, but there are some very, very interesting situations developing on the crosses. I did want to see one last thing I wanted to kind of show, and meaning I don't look at this very carefully, but dollar CAD today, look at this move. This is really, really brutal move to the upside and continues to move to the upside even into the early Asia. This really puts us now on a path towards a test of this big congestion level of 106s as we took out the 104.50 resistance. And it's basically suggests pretty serious dollar strength against the CAD. I guess on the idea that if taper is in play, that puts the U.S. yields higher to Canadian yields and maybe creates even further pressure to the upside. So very much worth watching this big move in dollar CAD. Certainly 105 next big test, and it could be an interesting test here in the overnight session. Wishing you guys the best of luck and the best of trading. This is Boris Schlossberg for BK Forex. Over now.